Just wait. 1, 2. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome very much to the second day of the Digital Transformation in Government Conference. Delighted to have you there. Today, we're fortunate to have Dr. Raul Abril, who's going to be giving us a presentation on the European Union e-government enterprise reference architecture, linking the dots between enterprise architecture, portfolio management, and digital transformation. Raul Abril is an officer of the European Commission since 2013 and a research fellow at Leuven Public Governance Institute. He's responsible for a portfolio of European programs, including the European Interoperability Reference Architecture EIRA, the e-government enterprise reference architecture portfolio decision-making support, and the e-government enterprise reference architecture digital transformation roadmap support. He's got more than 35 years of IT professional services experience, most of them in the private sector, and holding several senior positions, including R&D Portfolio Manager in a major USA IT vendor. His knowledge domains are research methods, quantitative and qualitative, marketing, research and information systems, information technology, research and development, portfolio management, product management, project management, and information and systems and technology, knowledge management, decision support, business intelligence, data warehousing, and so on. Raul has been a professor in several universities and been active publishing his research. He holds a doctoral degree from Henley Management College in the United Kingdom, a European PhD certification, European Doctoral School in Knowledge Management in Denmark, and Ingénieur Supérieur Informatique from the ESP, and and a master's degree in project management. So he's extremely well certified and well qualified to give this presentation. And without further ado, I turn it over to Raul. Thank you ever so much for taking the time to present to us. Okay, merci.
Thank you very much, Bob. Good morning to everybody. Bonjour à tous. Je parlerai en anglais. Well, this presentation has an intention, in essence, which is, as you can see in the title, to share learnings with this community of colleagues, but not only, I would say, is to get your opinions, feedback, etc. So we're really looking for follow-ups after this session. And one of the potential follow-ups, and I just wanted to do that at the beginning of this session in case that there is a CIO or a portfolio manager, let me repeat, CIO or portfolio manager in a public administration that would be interested in basically practicing the concepts that I am using here in collaboration potentially with a PhD student of the University of Ottawa. I would support that, with myself involvement or my team. So just, this is an offer that I am putting over the table. So what the agenda that I have in this slide is to use my slides essentially as a script. I mean, you will have the slides as a takeaway, but I would say that the potential takeaway for you, the value is not on the slides only, is in my voice. No, so I am going to share with you a kind of a storytelling, introducing about EIRA. Yesterday, my colleague in the council, Pierre-Dominique Cotet, one of the slides was talking about what he, in his own words, which I appreciated, qualify as one of the pillars in our action for digital transformation, which it was EIRA. No, so in this slide, in this section, I'm going just to refresh very briefly about the EIRA. What is EIRA, the European Interoperability Reference Architecture? And then I use that basically, if you allow me, as an appetizer to the bulk of this presentation, to the message that I want to send. What is EIRA? Well, EIRA is an architecture, technologically independent, business agnostic content methodology one important concept is to understand what is the unit of analysis. So what can we do? So EIRA is not an enterprise architecture framework, like for example TOGAF, or could be the original from Sackman, etc. No, EIRA is a reference architecture. So we have a unit of analysis, which is a digital public service. So EIRA is intended to do things, use cases, that, and we will see them, with a one digital public service. No, the components of these reference architectures are architectural building blocks, that they are basically representing each one a required functionality. And this required functionality covers legal aspects, organizational aspects, semantic aspects, and technology aspects. And this is important because we say that in EIRA we are lost. Okay, so what is the focus of EIRA? The focus of EIRA is the I, so is interoperability, in the sense that it includes the most salient, this is the terminology, ABBs basically of an interoperable digital public service. So you can Google and to find a lot of references architectures with different focuses. For example, you can find business analytic reference architecture. You can find data warehousing reference architecture, security reference architecture. Even the Open Group has the cloud computing Open Group reference architecture. So all of them, they have a focus to be used as a template. Any reference architecture, in order to deserve this label, should at least to accomplish two properties. The first one is to have an ontology and to have a style, which it has some implications, which means that we need to keep the pace with the different releases of the Archimate, of the Open Group, but also with the tooling, which is Archi. And then what is the style? We promote services. We promote service-oriented architecture. Then we promote and we develop and we work a lot, as you will see in this presentation, what we call solution architecture templates, which are nothing more than extensions. So in EIRA, for example, you will see that we advocate that we should have the concept of a digital business capability, but we don't say which ones. So at the level of granularity in EIRA is you need to have the concept of digital business capability. So basically the extension to identify which are those digital business capabilities that you need is what we do on solution architecture templates. And then basically, I just wanted to credit that the EIRA, after I think now around 7 years, is basically the result of a collaborative effort with the member states in the European Union. EIRA is in a legal test, so EIRA is in a legal test in the European, that is at the bottom of this slide, promoting the use of EIRA basically in the use of digital business capabilities. However, what I would like to comment here is, and potentially a lot of the colleagues attending this presentation are from Canada or in Canada, I would say that the situation in the European Union is we don't have the level of, I would say, Confederation of Canada, by no way. So we are even looser. So this article and this legal test is binding to the European Central Administration, the federal, to us, to my government, to the Commission. I work for the European Commission. And then, but it's not binding to the member states. So the member states, the colleagues in each of the member states of the European Union are not obliged to use EIRA. Okay. Now, what is EIRA? This is a high-level view, so you may expect, as I said, Archimate. So here you have, and that's not the intention, but this is the notation. I mean, you have two links at the right-hand side that I put not as hyperlinks to allow you copy and paste in case that you want, of course, even a YouTube video explaining EIRA. So you can go, so you can see that we are covering the 4 layers of legal, organizational, semantic, and technology. No? And this is only the high level and partial view. No? So this is, again, just to give you a sense of what we have. So what are the use cases that we have been doing so far? Well, we have been developing EIRA, we have upgrading EIRA with major and minor releases. And then in essence, the star use cases, I am signifying that with this star, gold star, they have been essentially to analysis of high level public service. Even in this in those public administrations, they, instead of going to a new digital public service, they say, okay, let's be cautious, let's work with your team, Raul, and then what we are going to do is we are going to take an existing digital public service in production, and what we are going to do is either to basically document the as is, sorry for the typo, this means as is digital public service. Another star use cases has been, okay, we want to design a to be basically a to be digital public service, no, as a solution. No, this has been also another star. I would say also that it has been growing another type of use cases which is use the definitions that we have in EIRA as a control vocabulary. So we have a persistent URI for each IBB, and essentially those definitions can be referenced, reused in different tests, documentation, etc., but also in legal tests. For example, in public procurement. No, in most, I would say, all the member states in the European Union, when you are going to public procurement, this is published actually in the formal gazette of the state, and therefore it has automatically the condition of being a legal document. So control vocabulary is I would say a very popular also use of EIRA. So let's go directly to what I wanted, the message that I wanted to share with you, dear colleagues, and is the upscale. So in essence, everything that I have been talking so far is about traditional use cases, no? But then suddenly it came a kind of situation which was the upscale a problem statement. No, in this case, for your information, in the Commission we are organized through Dirección General, which is the equivalent to a ministry. I work in the digital Dirección General in the left-hand side, and then we have another essentially they are supporting member states in modernizing their public administrations. And one mechanism to modernize is basically that they provide funds, no? But then when providing funds, the CIOs and portfolio managers in those member states, they need to justify their request. So they need to provide a rationale. So this is actually, everything that you will see here is actually a real iteration that happened in June 2018, and actually in a building of the Commission Charlemagne in Brussels. And in the conversation went, as you can see here, it started the initiative by the colleagues in DG Reform saying, member states, they are asking for our guidance, the European Commission guidance on what? On digital government public services portfolio management. And then here, let me share now that no one is listening to us. The guy to the left is me. So could you please be more specific to do what? And then basically the conversation went in the following terms. They need support, which means portfolio managers and CIOs, support on formulating their national digital strategies, setting their priorities, which is a natural request. Essentially, any new CIO, one of the very first things that they should do is to create a digital strategy or to revisit the digital strategy that is in place. No? And then I requested a clarification, is this a top-down approach? And then the response that I got was, and not only, frequently also bottom-up, as they need justifications supporting their applications for funds to modernize their specific digital public services. And then my question was, and who are the users? And then again, I got this clarification that were CIOs and portfolio managers. And then my follow-up question was, so they would get value if we provide a kind of high-level e-government architecture for key digital public services and for big public administrations domains, right? And then I got confirmation saying exactly it should cover, for example, it should cover taxes, it should cover health, it should cover justice, okay? And then I was interested in understanding value. What is the value? And then the response that I get was that these users will get a high-level government architecture reference logical against which the digitalization try to basically focus and to basically materialize. And then I said, okay, let's call about this thing for the moment eGovERA. And this guidance should consider specific situations. So because we cannot have a one size shoe for everybody, right? And then the response was obviously yes, absolutely. It's clear that, and now notice, it appears a new element here. Digital transformation would greatly vary from member state to a member state. So digital transformation meaning I am now in this current situation, I am targeting this other type of situation. How do I move from here to my target? So I then say, okay, so this eGovERA, for example, in addition to this high-level e-government architecture reference, it should provide a roadmap, right? Suggesting the specifics for their digital transformation, considering their particular situation, right? And then the answer was absolutely. Digital transformation would greatly vary from member state to member state. And then I wanted to be a little bit provocative here, saying, because, you know, we have a big diversity of in the European Union. Not all the European Union member states, they have the same level of digitalization. So we have some champions, very advanced. So I ask, so our champion member states in government will not be really interested, right? And then I got a surprise response, because the answer was they will, to focus next generation of digital public service. Okay, so we suggested to put that in the work program, and also we agreed to create a proof of concept in member states. So this is the background, and now let's start. So what is eGovERA? So eGovERA, and now I'm going to decouple the English to help the translation. eGovERA is a solution suite for e-government decision-making support in European public administrations, and eGovERA is also a solution suite for digital transformation decision-making support in European public administrations. The vision is, in essence, to support the next generation in 10 years of European digital public services, enabling, and those are important conditions for us, business continuity, and we started, please remember, in 2018, and so this was before COVID, so now it's more important than ever. I would say that everything that we have done has been really pushed and supported in the COVID crisis. And then we should support transformation and, of course, legacy. We should support coexistence with the current state of affairs. No? So what are the users? As I mentioned, the CIO. Well, generally speaking, we have those use cases, which is to support portfolio management, the decision support, as a consequence, support to the creation of digital agendas. And I will explain this last one. And then also capacity building, and then also digital transformation. So how do I move from A to B? Requesting for funds, applying to funds, so requesting for funding, you need to justify the digital transformation, and then the traditional use cases. No? The ICT legislation impact assessment is something I would say very specific to European Union, and is that we have a legislation in place that any change in any legal document should be drafted along some impact assessments. One of those is, for example, environmental impact assessment. So if you are going to build a tunnel or a bridge, you should understand what is going to be the impact. But also there is now an ICT impact assessment, in the sense that before moving a word in a legal test, you need to understand what is going to be the impact in the ICT system supporting that. So this is another use case on what we are describing. So what are the solution components? Well, there are two types of solution components. What I call foundation solution component, which are in essence reference architectures, and what I call upscale solution components. So the foundation are reference architectures, which are domain specific reference architectures. In our case, taxation and health have been finalized, and business agnostic. Okay, so we have business agnostic, which is supporting any type of domain specific reference architecture, and those two. And then we have three major solution components, which are for business users. Okay, the first one is a survey, basically allowing you to assess where are you, what is your as-is type of situation for each digital business capability. So this requires time, simulations, role play, what if analysis, with the typical analysis of portfolio management. I wanted to say, as Bob has introduced, myself, I have been a portfolio manager in the private sector in US, so I know the job. So I dreamed to have this thing. I never had this thing. So a quadrant type of tool, and then finally a roadmap tool, showing the high level steps that I should go from A to B, and finally a portal where there is basically the umbrella to access those three solution components. One thing that I consider very important, and we'll see is a requirement, is what are the solution components that are visible per use case. Visible means that you have the user experience, and notice that in all those, basically the reference architectures are not visible except when you are in the traditional foundation use cases, no, for solution architects and enterprise architects. But this is absolutely transparent for the business users. And in this case, I just wanted to signify that I'm going to move, but this will require further development. Today, I am supporting this use case, ICT legislation impact, but it requires the access to the eGovERA, to the reference architecture. But definitely, my intention is to move to make that transparent and to the business users, because this use case, I am going to target policymakers. Okay, so what are the requirements, the high-level requirements? Well, I am going to be very fast. The most important one is business first. Business first means that I had to be very visual, very intuitive, and forget about any type of icons like that I have in the left-hand side. So there is no way that I can go to a CIO or to a portfolio manager. Well, not me, at least. I would not advise anyone to do that with icons, diagrams, with Archimate. Forget it. So it is required to use visual tools that are management tools, okay, to make the business decisions, in terms of investment and in terms of basically understanding how do I go from A to B. This type of concepts are going to be used for upscale solutions. The first one is the concept of digital business capabilities. So as I said, EIRA says I need to model digital business capability, but in the extensions, we need to say which ones are those digital business capabilities. So what in this industry is known as the digital business capability map, to identify all of them. Then we need to identify all the digital public services supporting each of those digital business capabilities. And finally, what are the ABBs? So all those are in the reference architectures, of course, but they will be, in essence, these technicalities will be, in essence, it will be transparent to the business user. So I'm going to move now to the demo, and then in the demo, what you have is a portal, as I said, and in this portal there is basically the logical data model, the basic ontology on what we are talking here about with these relationships that I explained between digital business capabilities, digital public services, and ABB. So no big deal. And then in the navigation bar, the first assessment. The first solution that we need to do is, in essence, to assess the digital business capabilities that we want to basically have. So what is the format of this thing? The format of this thing is, in essence, I'm providing to you the link and the user and password is basically user and user. So in essence, the information that you are going to provide is going to be private, so we don't have any access to this information. And then you start the assessment. Assessment is always the same. So you mean that you plan to, and then for each domain, you need to the digital business capabilities that you want to assess. You may select or unselect them, and then okay. And I just was wondering why this connection is not working so fast. So what are the digital business capabilities? And then for each digital business capability, what you will do is, in essence, to identify the requirements for each one. What is the level of ability to support each of these digital business capability? I think I am experiencing an internet problem. Let me be sure that this is okay. If not, then I will. Okay, yes, here it is. So here I have, in this case, the typical, the different domains that I have, and then in this case is for business agnostic, health, taxes. So this requires time. This requires, because you need quality input. So in this case, so I am going to unselect basically all those. I have just a subset. This is status in the business agnostic, in this case, reference architecture, and then I it illustrate what is the ability. What is to present is, in essence, a question. No? So here I have the group of questions for the legal requirements, for the organizational, for the semantic, and for the technologies, because you know that we are lost. So, for example, in the case of the legal, all the items, all the questions they have this format. We have here what is the requirement, and then we are asking what is the level of support that this digital business capability, in this case electronic identification, it has with respect to these requirements. So you need to fulfill this for all those questions, and there are many. I just wanted you to know that there are many. So you do that for all of them, and then when you have done this thing, after maybe a few days, asking with your experts, basically the second solution, which is in essence basically the portfolio management decision support. You can recover the job done before. In this case, I'm using this because I have prepared this with my team, and this is a JSON file, it's a piece of cake, where what you have is basically the fake result of after the assessment that we have that you have done before with the solution. No, in this case, what here is that what are the digital business capabilities, which are business agnostic, and in this case is in the health. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 digital business capabilities, and overall these digital business capabilities, they have an assessment in terms of national or province digital strategy fit. What is the ability to support that they have? That they are supported, what is the expected public value? This is a public administration concept, like expected value in microeconomics, what is the expected public value? And then a number here that this is, of course, don't pay attention, but is in essence, what is the expected budget that we have? And this budget is, in essence, basically telling us what is the size of the circle. So here, what you have for each of those dots is one digital business capabilities. In this case, this is is the health business capability number 4, which is basically prescription and dispensation. And then what you have here is, in essence, the information that we have here. Not the score in the digital fit is 3, but we can change. So we can say, for example, that now the ability to support of this one, we can say, you know what, because this is, in my experience, what happened in portfolio management decisions. You don't do that alone, you do that in a group decision. So you say, oh my gosh, this is going to be, I am not satisfied. I think this is a 7, okay? So you change your expectations, and then it will response time. I don't know if it's because I have whatever my by those X's supported with national strategy. And for example, in the typical decision is, you know what, I am going to focus in my investments on this quadrant, for example, or in a combination. So in basically, or excuse me, in this quadrant, I have a high support, but I am very poor. No, so the next thing that I need to do is to select my digital business capability, my focus. So I'm going to select this one, for example, and I'm going to double click here. So you can see that I have nothing here. I'm going to double click, and then what I get is basically all the digital public services, which is coming from, of course, the reference architecture, which are here. So this is where I clicked before in the quadrant, and I am moving to the digital transformation. I am moving to the third solution component. We have seen the assessment, we have seen the quadrant. The quadrant is for portfolio, for identification of the digital business capabilities, and now we are moving smoothly to the digital transformation. So what I have here is all the digital public services that are supporting this business capability, and I have all of them here, no? And then the question is, how do I move from the situation that I have now, the ability to support, to the next situation. So what I'm going to do is, in essence, what is telling me here is to move here my digital business capability. This is, as you can see, prescription and dispensation. This is this one that I have selected. If you would have selected another, all of here, all the specific semantic technology infrastructure and technology application as is situation to this digital business capability. And here, what you have are the business agnostic architectural building blocks that are supporting this domain specific. So for example, I may have a business agnostic technical infrastructure that is supporting my health technical infrastructure, correct? Now, what I can toggle and to see only the domain specific, or I can see the business agnostic and domain specific. Okay, and then of course this is for as I said, for all the digital public services, all of them that are implementing this configuration that is in this case starting by the legal aspects and then is continuing until the end. And then my question is, okay, I would really like to understand from a semantic perspective, where are we? So I click here, you can see that I have nothing below. So, and I have nothing, only tabular information of this information. So if I click here, in essence, what I get is an understanding, a graphical understanding of all the ABBs in the domain specific reference architecture for all the public service that I have here. Response time is terrible. Just a second. Let me do this thing. And what I get when I focus in one is, in essence, a description of all the EBBs, which are the position of glass if it's half empty or half full, illustrating what are the situation for all the ABBs that I have here. I'm just talking to you, saving your time, because it's okay. I got that? No, still not. Okay, let me repeat that. I mean, it is a question of response time for sure, right? Because I don't know what is happening with this platform. Well, okay. The question is that, well, I'm getting the response of this thing. I could change and to say, well, I really want to focus my attention not on all the digital public services supporting this business capability, but only selected ones. No, for example, I wanted to select only on business agnostic identification, and also with a digital public service that is called like the digital business capability prescription. So the information that I have here is the same roadmap, but is limited in terms of the BB to those two, not to this one. Or I could say I only want to have business agnostic, so I'm going to have, for For example, I am going to unclick the diagnostic just to focus. Maybe I am lucky, and then I will get less. Okay, I'm going to click. So I have only prescription. So the information I have is limited to. I'm going to try now to check, for example, this one. Okay, I will do in legal, and this one, and then the type of information that I get is, as I was saying, I'm sorry for the response time, but I don't know what happened. So is this information, those are all the architectural building blocks with this notation of half full or whatever. What is the status? So obviously I need to invest money here, and I don't have to invest any money here, no? So the last thing that I wanted to comment in relation to this thing, I have 2 minutes before opening the floor for question, is notice that not only, and this will be the subject of my presentation tomorrow, that we are starting here by legal. So this is a typical case, for example, for the member states in the European Union in the South. So in public administrations in the member states, typically of the South, they do not move a finger if there is no a legal text supporting requirements. So the first thing that they need to do is starting by the legal. So it means putting in the legislation requirements. Okay, but that's not the case. For example, in the Scandinavian member states at all. No, so the configuration changes. So I am going to change the configuration to say, for example, if I would be, for example, listening yesterday to my colleague Julie, she was talking about platform, a shared service platform of technology with wonderful things. So potentially, I want to start by the start is now technology. Okay, and I have a different configuration to reach the same end. But my starting point, my implementation orientation is completely different. I am starting by first understanding what in order not to reuse the wheel, what are the common software components and services that I can use, correct? So this type of configuration, and with that I just finish the demo. I am coming back to my presentation, if I am lucky. And to finish introduction, what is this? I hope I'm coming here. So in essence, and now I'm finishing, I have 1 minute more only. So in essence, what I wanted to describe is that we have described the foundation are essential but are transparent. So we have developed a business agnostic reference architecture based on EIRA, and then basically the 2 domain specific so far, and we have another already approved, which is customs. And the way of working on this way is trying to avoid, no, not trying. That's my commitment, to avoid silos and duplication. So everything that is specific should only be in the domain specific, leveraging as much as possible in the common transversal business agnostic. Okay, so I don't have. There are some in my slides. There are some details about the complexity of the reference architectures that we are talking. For example, in the health, in the tax, for business, but we have a total of 25 services and 232 architectural building blocks. So this is complex. So this is the fact sheet for health, and this is for the business agnostic. We have identified so far 17. So what are my conclusions? My conclusions, dear colleagues, is first of all, if you are assessing tools, because this is pretty common, and I would say, if you allow me, unfortunately, in enterprise architecture, ask yourself, what is the support that these the business capabilities mapping, etc., they have going down? So where are the digital public services supporting those digital business capabilities? What are the ABBs involved? And I would wish you good luck trying to find the answer, because I don't think that there is in the market this type of things. The other thing is that you need a based, in this case, EIRA, based domain, which is the foundation to upscale basically solutions. And another thing is that you should link the dots. You should link the dots moving from reference architecture to capacity mappings to portfolio management and to digital transformation, because at the end of the day, the closer to plug and play, the bigger the value is for business users. And with that, Bob, I'm just leaving the floor for questions.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Abril. That was a great presentation. Anyways, I apologize to everybody, the listeners, and to Dr. Abril. The internet connection connectivity was left a bit to be desired. But what we're doing is I'll just ask some questions that we've got in the queue, this sort of thing. Yeah, we talked about the internet connection. Unfortunately, we couldn't do anything about that. I put a response in for that. Is this business capability assessment tool free or open sourced?
It's open source. It will be open source. It will be released in the next 2 weeks, and it will be absolutely accessible, even the code.
Okay, great. Where would they go to access that and get it?
Well, it will be published in our collaborative platform, which is Join Up. And by the way, I have the links through the presentation. So Join Up is our collaborative platform, and you will need just to type eGovERA and to have access to basically download. And the code will be published in GitHub.
Could you just can you just simply cut and paste it, put it into chat, and I'll put it into the question box, so that the people can have it in chat. So if you could just sort of cut and paste it, that would be great into the chat in our session, and then I'll cut and paste it into
I need to
chat.
access. I will do right now. I need to access. I have in presentation mode. Let me try.
Don't worry about it. What I'll do is I'll get it, unless you can find it in the next minute or so.
I will do in parallel. Don't worry. Don't worry. Ask me.
And what happens is we can send it out to put it in an email to conference representatives. So it's basically an open source tool, or it's going to be made into an open source tool. And I think that's great. That's great news. How do you measure the level?
And I want to justify, if you allow me, I need to say the reason for that. The reason is that we promote open source, but also we promote free of charge, because I cannot ask the member
states to pay. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Licenses.
Sorry, you're breaking up.
That's the reason.
Okay.
So yes, please.
Okay, no worries. How do you measure the level of alignment?
No,
Sorry. Oh, okay.
The level of alignment of what? Alignment of what, please?
The level of alignment between digital capability and the business requirements. Is there a measure for that?
Because no, there is not a measure, because it's by design. I mean, it's in the reference architecture, in essence. By the way, I am sharing, hopefully, if I hope, if not, please tell me. I am sharing the link to the collaborative platform here. I'm going to copy and paste.
Just put it into your chat, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, folks, I'm working on 2 platforms, so.
Chat. Chat. found the chat.
Okay.
And then to
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, the level of alignment, they're talking sort of a score of 1 to 0, okay, for that. And I'm just going to answer now. Connection's very choppy, show more, okay. Done, level of alignment, right response. Okay, I'm just going to put that now in the chat to everybody, the link that we just, that Dr. Abril just shared, and that is the link to the okay, so that's posted now. And what you can do is join up and see what the status of the tool is.
All
Okay, go ahead.
those links are all.
Okay, I'm just going to shut my video down.
Yes. All the links are also in the PowerPoint presentation, Bob.
Okay.
I put all of them.
Okay, well, I would like to thank Dr. Abril for his presentation, and hopefully we can convince him next year to come over and visit and and give a workshop at the next Digital Transformation in Government Conference, 14 to 16 June next year. Anyways, without further ado, thank you very much. I'm just going to stay static for a while, so thank you, Dr. Abril. And now what we'll do is we'll just take a small break, and at 10:10 we'll start with Stephen Burt, who's the Assistant Deputy Minister for Data Innovation and Analytics at Department of National Defense. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry about everybody about the quality of the internet.